All right, we're back. Ermanni and Edwards with Mavs today. T. Foss is sitting in the seat of Ryan Ermanni. Dan Campbell, talking about the Carolina Panthers. T. Foss, you talked about it. You know, it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, you don't want to take a team lightly. Last year, the Detroit Lions took the Carolina Panthers lightly. They were looking at the playoffs, looking ahead of them, and they dominated the run game, and they dominated them in offense. So Dan Campbell is not looking ahead. Dan Campbell on the Carolina Panthers.
Let me say this: it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, this team's not, and I say that every week. I mean, they're not going to just come in here and give a win away. They're coming in here to fight. I mean, and that's why I bring up the point. We know exactly what this is. We've been there, done that, man. When you're scratching, clawing for everything you can possibly get, you lost 4 in a row. I mean, I know exactly what they're thinking. So we'll be ready.
And Dan Campbell definitely knows exactly what they're thinking because he's lost 3 in a row more than twice in his 10 years at Detroit Lions. But enough of that. About the Carolina Panthers, Mavs, Dan Campbell hit the nail on the head. Look, you want to take them serious. You don't want to take them lightly because the Detroit Lions still have a lot to prove. Am I not wrong?
Yeah, look at last year when they were on that roll. What did they do? They went into Carolina on Christmas Eve, and they got coal in their stockings. We all did. I mean, I had a lousy Christmas Eve thanks to the Lions. I had some steak afterwards. It felt better afterwards. And Santa came, and that made me a little more happy. But they cannot let this team do what they did again. And look, they let Seattle come in and beat their ass. Really?
Yeah, but Seattle might be good.
I know they are.
I think they're good.
I know they are. But I'm just talking about revenge games that you lost last year and you want another crack at a team. So they get another crack at Carolina. You're not going to let them run for 300 yards. Last week they ran for 60 yards. Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders. You can't let those two guys dominate you. That defensive line is going to be playing, and I expect big things out of Aiden Hutchinson again.
Here's the dangerous thing. Players from Carolina are talking. We hear all this Lions hype. This is the team the NFL wants. They want to unseat the Lions mostly because of that. They want to walk into their arena, win this. So there's a lot of motivation on Carolina's part. But I just don't think they have the horses to do it.
Hey, let me ask you this question. As I'm wearing T-Foss Ray-Bans, which are very, very exclusive.
They are.
Man, I love these. These feel amazing.
You know what? They were the first.
These are amazing.
I know. Those are the best sunglasses I've ever had. And it was the first sunglasses I saw when I went into the shop. I said to the lady, every time I come to a sunglass place, it takes me like 45 minutes to find one.
Yeah.
It can't be the first pair that I see that I like.
Listen.
Said, yes, it can.
Listen, I'm going to tell you like this. When my stepdad met my mom, you know what he told me? You know when you know.
There you go.
Doesn't matter how long it takes you. You know when you know. Speaking of knowing when you know, and Maz, last night, you talk about a team in the Chicago Bears that were 0-4. They're playing against another team that's struggling as well, Washington Commanders, backs against the wall, playing for survival. They were able to find a way to get it done. The only reason I ask that, is there any way that the Carolina Panthers, with Bryce Young, with what they have in the backfield and their defense, is there any way that you feel like they can hit a move like last night with a survival type of win?
I don't think so. The Lions are home. I go back to the Cowboys. Cowboys were on the road at Arizona. So they kind of fell asleep on this one. Lions sleep in their own bed. They wake up. They should really just hit Carolina in the mouth early, keep them down, keep Bryce Young down. You don't want that kid to get on a roll like Justin Fields did the last couple of weeks. You got to keep him as he is. Chase him around, keep that running game to nothing. And what wide receivers on that team is going to beat you?
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah, I think the only way the Lions could lose would be because of Jared Goff. Now, he is on the 3-game roll of having an interception in each of the last 3 games. Now, if that morphs into 2 or 3, then that's how they could lose. If he sticks to 1, I think they'll be good.
And you talked about the running game, and you're talking about the running game of the Carolina Panthers, but I want to talk about the running game of the Detroit Lions. David Montgomery. David Montgomery comes back last week against the Green Bay Packers.
He looked great.
And he looked phenomenal. You get Taylor Decker back at your left tackle. You're able to put Panay back at the right. And David Montgomery ran hard. He ran with purpose. What does it mean for you, T. Foss, and then we'll get you in on that, Matt, when you get a guy like David Montgomery that's running like that, and now it gives you time to figure out how you get Jahmyr Gibbs going. Talk about David Montgomery in that process.
Yeah, first of all, David Montgomery is a son of a bitch.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he moves the pile.
Yep.
He goes north and south. The thing that is almost as important as rushing is the fact that the Lions can get the ball with 5 minutes left, be up by 5 points, and they know they're going to run off some clock. They may not score, but they'll let the other team have the ball with like 10 seconds left and 90 yards to go.
Yeah, you know our own Dan Miller, Fox 2, we love Dan Miller here. He sat down with David Montgomery, and we have the video. First, want to talk a little bit about the Woodward Sports Night Show, and then we'll get into that video. Matt, tell us a little bit about the Woodward Sports Nights.
You know our guys, Booner and Broder, come at you Monday through Friday from 8 to 10, and they've got it going. I've watched their show. A lot of great interaction from the chat. They take calls. They do a great job. And last night they were breaking down the Lions. You know, Broder is our guy down at the Lions. He's our beat reporter. So he is in on everything down there. You got to follow him, by the way, on X, or formerly of Twitter. Yeah, make sure you follow Broder and the guys. Booner and Broder weeknights, 8 to 10, right here on Woodward Sports, and, of course, our Woodward Sports YouTube channel. That's our guys.
Every time I hear X now, you know it's no longer Twitter. It's X. Every time I hear X, it's X going to give it to you. Going to give it to you. Or something that has to do with
There's too many X's in the world.
Exactly. It's like X. Like, are you on X? Like,
you have
get
X,
away from
you have Xfinity.
Okay.
And now you have X.
That's only 2, though.
I know, but that's
still
confusing.
Too many. You said it's too many in the world. You named 2.
Well, those are 2 very important ones.
All right, T-Foss, we're going to let you rock with that. We talked about David Montgomery last week. 3 touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers, 122 yards. He ran with 28 yards, ran with purpose. He ran with purpose, 5.7.
He imposed his will.
Hey, you know what, Maz? It's a great way to put it. Dan Miller sat down with David Montgomery.
Here, like with a city who's even hungrier, you know. So I'm excited to be here. I'm blessed, and trying to keep this thing going, really.
Did you have a feel for what Detroit was like, just coming here as a visitor, or do you have to kind of be here and live it to understand what these fans are like?
Yeah, so I'm from Cincinnati, right up the street, really. So a lot of similarities as far as from the background, you know, the blue-collar, gritty kind of area. When I got here, I fit right in. You know, the people here are so authentic, genuine, and, you know, you could tell that they work hard at everything that they do. So I'm at the perfect place, really.
Well, I know you have talked about your background was not easy to get where you are right now. Dan Campbell always talks about grit. Did you guys vibe right away? Was there just something about you two, the way he looks at football and the way you look at life?
Yeah, of course. You know, he's the epitome of, you know, grit. You know, he's the kind of guy, big chest out. You know, you can tell like he eats dumbbells for breakfast. You know, you see a guy like that, and, you know, being able to have the amount of passion that he has, like, it's only right that I'm able to come to a place where I feel like I showcase the same thing. I got lucky to be in the situation that I'm in.
Well, you didn't go far from Cincinnati to here, and you didn't go far in terms of division when you changed teams. You know this division. Last Thursday night, look, Chicago, Minnesota are off to slow starts. Somebody was going to make a statement between Green Bay and Detroit, like, we're the team to beat right now, and it goes through us. What did it mean that it was you guys that made that statement?
It was a new position for me. I've never been in that position, but ultimately it felt the same. People say like we're being chased. I feel like we're the ones chasing, you know, and I feel like.
Does that keep you hungry?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you don't want to think somebody's coming after you. You always want to go after them.
I've always been the guy to never be good enough. I've always been the guy who's not supposed to be where I'm at. You know, I've always been the guy who, you know, I didn't go first round. You know, I didn't have any of those luxuries. And so for me, the small things that the people who typically get put on the pedestal, they undermine or they don't see as something that should be focused on, I take it with a grain of salt, and I try to look deep into those kind of things and being sure that I capitalize on every opportunity that I have, because I know that, you know, I was never going to want to get that opportunity.
This week, good teams stack good performances after good performances. Is that your mindset? Just forget about what happened before, it's about right now.
Of course, yeah. Like, I try not to, I let whatever time is and whenever time is be exactly what it is, you know. And I'm big on, like, staying where my feet are. I don't think I played good enough. I didn't think I played to the expectations that I feel like I can play on Thursday, and I know I need to be better, and I will. So I view it as, you know, scratching it off the things that I didn't do well, being sure that I capitalize on and do better.
But I got a feeling, final thing, no matter what you do, it'll never be good enough, will it?
Never. No, because I'm always chasing what I never had the opportunity to have.
And thank you to our partnership with Fox 2 for that video. That was Fox 2. That was Dan Miller talking to Dave Montgomery. T-Floss, I'll come to you before we go to break and want to ask you a question. Doesn't he just seem like a guy that just wants to get it done? He was tired of losing, giving everything he had in Chicago. He's come here. He's given everything that he has so far to the Detroit Lions, and he doesn't care. He seems like if Jahmyr Gibbs becomes the guy or wherever they're going, he just wants to win and put it all on the line.
No, that's true, and that's even in practice. I tell you, when I saw this dude and said he's going to be dangerous for somebody, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, you think he's a pretty sure tackler?
100%.
Okay.
He couldn't tackle Dave Montgomery?
No, Montgomery did like a little sweep play in practice.
36 tall sweep?
I don't know what it's called, but he got him behind. Montgomery said, bitch, get out of here. Slammed him to the ground, kept running. Now, to his credit, C.J. got back up and made the tackle like 5 yards down the road, but it was a thing like, man, C.J. is a pretty
he's a short tackler, yeah.
And he told, basically just slammed him to the ground and said, man, get off me.
Yeah,
what you trying to do?
Dave Montgomery, man, he's a guy. I watched in Chicago. I mean, when you play, when you start watching Lions, as soon as I started working here 3 years ago or 2 years ago, start watching Lions, you got to watch Chicago, if so facto. Didn't have an offensive line, but he ran hard. He always ran hard. He ran with purpose, and he always got things done.